What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. Last time, we started the first part of the trial, but then we were like, no, it could be Adrian Andrews, and then they were like, what? No. What? No. That's what I was thinking anyways, but Phoenix is like, no, this is our only chance. We gotta prove it. Sound is working, right? Yeah, okay. Sorry I didn't play this yesterday. Just been a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know, just found I didn't actually have the time yesterday, and I didn't want to force like a super rush stream or anything, but yeah. Alright, let me just make sure we got my guide open in case, well, not in case, when I get stuck on the obvious ones. I always get like the hard ones, I feel like, but it's the easy ones where I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, let's just get right back into the game. Let's get right, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna make that joke again. Alright, so time to see if she really is the killer, which she's not going to be, unless this chapter is really short. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian, no way, not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She's your manager. It would have been very easy for her to have pulled this off. The only person who had access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See? She could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your Hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she's the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Kurita. But why? I thought you was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impact's for her strength and will to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Kurita, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got closer to Mr. Kurita, all to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' codependency with regards to Miss Impact's? It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Alright, well, hopefully this doesn't blow up in our face. It probably will. Boom. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. Prosecution calls for the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Kurita's room. Huh, yes. Sorry, I'm trying to remember what my voice was. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ongard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yeah, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this court is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyways, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Kurita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. This was private matter between Juan and myself. But I didn't kill him. No one has accused you of that. Well, that's not true. Actually, Wright did. No, not yet. Got a feeling someone will soon. Well, I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. When I found the body. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. Oh, I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer. She has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pace. Disrupt her pace? She's the type of woman who will easily be thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understood? Stand. Same word. Well, not same word, same meaning. I don't know what that... If that was a hint, so I'm just gonna press everything. And what was Mr. Ongard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini-performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. That Ongard did say he was taking a nap. And I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you... Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Ongard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Nintendo, stop trying to sneak in lessons for kids. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions at mind at that time. Can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. Despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. Can you seriously expect that a young lady like her would not be shocked? Somehow... I see. Okay, that didn't help. I was hoping it would be like, press on it or something, I don't know. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice in the table, so I thought I'd help myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Kurita, you were in great shock, and that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. She's starting to say just now. Press further. What? Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake is. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? Oh, that's how water got in the guitar case, wasn't it? This mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Okay. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser. That's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between the perception and reality. It doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. I have to find something. I just have to, for Maya's sake. I feel like it has something to do with this. What's Lada's photo? It's gotta be something with this, right? Okay, I want to try this. I don't know if it'll work. Let's do slot 4. Yes! Okay, I think I know what it is. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the oh my god! Okay, I need to take a drink of water. I'm not speaking properly today. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. Well, that's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered onto the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She didn't implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case. Seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? I'll make it testify. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. Can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along, for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, we got through one. Time to go through another one. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic. Convenient escape for a weak man. Shut up, Edgeworth. You were gone for this entire game. You can't make fun of me. I want to try something real quick. If it's not this, then whatever. Actually... Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. Nah, I know what this is. Alright, this was easy. I'm not gonna get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is... Yeah. Come on, yeah, we can't afford to... Come on! Yeah. We had a weapon to hit her. Yeah, come on. Yes, I know what it is. I want to make sure I didn't have to ask her about it, though. We'll see slot 4 again, since it did us good last time. Slot 4, give it to me. Alright, where's the missing suicide note? Is it here? Okay, wait, hold on. This one? No. Was there a missing suicide note file and I'm being dumb? Samurai, press conference, hotel, magazine, a lot of... Jammin' Ninja. Well... Crap. Okay, I don't know. Alright, well, just press a bit, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see... Are you sure you were the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Her codependency is coming through, huh? Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. So you opened the guitar case then? Yes, well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Kurita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witnesses said multiple times when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic... Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would have been over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. Crap. Okay, it has his fingerprints on it. It's kind of one thing. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. I didn't look that up, I swear. My phone has been off this entire time. People, I know sometimes they're like, oh, you probably just looked that up. I swear, I haven't looked at my phone once. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Hey, I'm watching Sherlock, so I appreciate that a bit more. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Huh. What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? Well, why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
That's strange, because your fingerprints are on the thing. You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
Of course I do.
Who do you think I am? You think
You think I start stuff without...
Take this. I have your proof right here. The wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Ah! Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Ah! Oh no, her thing's... her glass is broken and she just pulls a new pair out. Wow, how rich are you?
Order! Order! Order!
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
What do you mean?
I believe the guitar case plays a very important role here, but it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar.
You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. That wasn't... It took me... I love Phoenix. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact on the case.
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided...
No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder.
If you're so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why the guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, okay. Let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar case was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
Sorry, bright red guitar, not case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar was...
So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours, you haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?
Lot 6. I don't know. It wouldn't be any of these. It wouldn't be like he was stuffed in there or something. Or this game be that crazy? No, there's no way. I saved slot 6. Maybe suicide. Why would something like that be inside a car case, let alone this one? Why, Mr. Wright? Why?
Well, I just thought it might have been possible. Okay. I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be?
Yes, never bring it out again.
I really want to say like the missing suicide note. I feel like that's what it is, but
I'll try a couple things, I guess. Nope. Alright, I want to try one more, and then I want to try the crazy idea I had, which is probably not right. Okay. This one's stumping me a little bit. No. Okay. Crap. I've run out of ideas. This is a photograph. The suit was in there. Oh. I was like, why do I have this photo? And then it was like,
yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
in this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is, inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? An insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Order! Order! Looks like we wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Onguard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case, of all places?
True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
Slot 5. I want to say it was stolen. I think it may have been stolen from Mr. Onguard.
Stolen? But why would somebody do such a thing?
Maybe the thief wanted to interfere with the post-ceremony stage show. And so, if he didn't have his costume, then Mr. Onguard would be forced to go and... Okay, this is wrong, isn't it? Here's a spare. Maybe you should run out for making a mockery of this court. Excuse me? Still wearing his costume. Is this not correct? Yeah, he did say something like that. I thought we were gonna try and link it to Andrews and say like, oh, she took it from him, but nope, it was a spare costume. Mr. Onguard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What?
Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had planned to bring this spare to the ceremony.
But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
Ah, so that's what he intended. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright. This is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was...
Oh no. Slot 4.
I'm an idiot, I hit the wrong one. I hate my life. I hit the wrong one. I hit load instead of save. I hate my life. Okay. Alright, we have to go through this again. I'm sorry. It's like the second time I've done this in this playthrough. I do wish you could turn like the skip option on. We're finally catching up.
Objection!
Okay. Oh! Oh, it just hit me. The post-ceremony show. Remember? Because the guy, Matt, was like, I don't remember anything about that. I've never heard of that before. Oh, okay. Slot 4. Cool, we did it right this time. This one! What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ongard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
What? How can that be?
The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
He was wanting to dress up as a Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ongard.
Yeah, so I guess that's what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you're pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyways.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? You know what the secret of Mr. Ongard's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. That's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Mr. Ongard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I knew I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
this does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. Finally seeing your true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If there are no objections, I feel that I can pass a verdict based on this testimony. Now then, Mr. Wright, if you please.
Looks like somehow everything is swung to the opposite end of the scale again. This means I have to pull my weight into this and turn the logic upside down. Okay. Would you say that that was your intuition speaking to you?
Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own.
Ugh.
If you want to prove that somebody did something, you need 3 things.
3 things?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. If you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear.
You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school. At least, not from what I remember.
May I continue now?
So would you say that this need came from the press conference?
Yes. Do you know why Hawan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Mr. Matt Ongard.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume.
But I'm sure Mr. Ongard himself didn't know anything about a press conference.
Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference?
Anyway, the important thing here is that the information was not in your testimony.
Yes, I agree, Miss Andrews. Please correct your testimony, if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright?
Has Mr. Ongard done something to hurt or betray you personally?
Why do you ask?
You were the one who helped Mr. Credo with his press conference, and that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ongard, yet you still helped out.
The person on trial right now is Mr. Ongard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill.
Why do I keep doing this to myself? But didn't you already testify earlier that Matt Ongard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Ongard?
I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. Can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. Judge is glaring straight at Mia.
He's glaring at you, smart guy.
How did you read that? You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage.
Then, what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jam Ninja's costume.
We're talking about this button, correct?
And that button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama, correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
An icy stare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this to your testimony.
And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they are found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard.
I heard that before too. Why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail?
Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not.
And I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her on, it has to be here. But where and what?
They're basically saying, try there.
But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ongard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? The same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Ongard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will toward the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour. And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me, it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now. You'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. I'm gonna pin you down this time, Miss Andrews.
Ah, no, I didn't mean to do that. I already read this. Okay, there are only a couple things I can think of, but I want to try them. Slot... Let's just go slot 4, why not? Nope. Okay. I was gonna try and say like the blood, but I guess not. I don't know. I'm just kind of trying random things at this point. Well, at this point, I'm just try everything. The guitar case. Oh, wait, no. This. Wow, Zach, you really couldn't think that through enough? Woo! Wow. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. Why'd you use the victim again? And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Ah, that's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during this struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. Order! Order! What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know that this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? To pin the crime on Andre. Come on, Judge. Judge, you silly friend. Nice, we got it. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Ongard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants.
That's right. Mr. Ongard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world was the real killer then?
Finally. Can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Ongard, is... It has to be her.
Can't be anyone else, I don't think so. Plot 6.
Yeah. Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you! You are Mr. Kurita's killer. What?
Order! 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 Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews.
What? How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me.
I can't, can I? Would you care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ongard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you.
Oh, we got you.
Then, what about the button that was found in Matt Ongard's Hakama?
I literally just said that. This button was removed from the victim's body after he'd already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Ongard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama.
Oh, come on, stop.
The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Ongard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. Also, how many glasses have you broken by now? Like, we're not paying for that, you know.
Why, I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. Well, that's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass on the tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classically dazed discoverer of the body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe that this nickel samurai is Mr. Ongard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
please, stop.
Well, how about it, Miss Andrews?
Um,
I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading to the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ongard's room.
Adrian Andrews.
Oh.
Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed, understood? Alright.
That's it. That's when Franziska planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad.
You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. There's still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done?
What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Prove that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita.
Got you, fam.
Except wait, you gave it to me, so oh no.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No! She's taking that defiant attitude again.
Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
Well, I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrienne Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof.
But that's not true!
In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial...
Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
It is impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Yo, Edgeworth coming in being the MVP. It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incriminating. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to what she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edward today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked in the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting, slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. White, you may begin your cross-examination.
But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then, who did you pour it for?
Really? Really, Phoenix? Just
right. There's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, right, be quiet and listen. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself.
So, it was a mess? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Kurita?
Right, I just gave you a chance. Understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness?
Slumped over?
Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed.
Is that correct? Yeah, it is.
He looked like he was sleeping.
Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Was he oh no. She didn't kill him. She found him when he was still alive and... Oh no. Oh. That's not what I meant to hit. What am I doing? Sorry. They're on the same slot, so... Oh, okay. Just curious. Don't want to do this preemptively. What do I have out of curiosity?
The button!
I should just keep going with this, actually.
Then what did cross your mind?
Thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix, and then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought.
I see. So you didn't think he was dead at all?
Thought he fainted?
I thought he was asleep at first, but then the room was in such a messy state, thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice. Yes, he always has a hard time waking up, so Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink.
I see. And after that, what happened next?
And how did you come to realize that he was, in fact, dead?
I shook him over and over, but I never got a response, so I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards. He knocked the flower vase over, so that's what happened. Yes. This is what it all comes down to.
Huh?
And this is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case.
Isn't that a bit harsh?
Miss Andrews, can you tell us the truth this time?
I think it's that last one, actually. We'll do slot 4 again. Okay, cool. Is the...
So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body?
Yeah, that looks pretty dead to me.
Ah,
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There was a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that he was a dead man.
that's, well, you see,
I doubt a single person in the world will mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer.
Looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Onguard, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
But you were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ongaard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last?
What's wrong, Phoenix?
Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ongaard.
Oh, god dang it, Edgeworth.
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know what we're gonna do. The absolute real truth? What are you...
Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ongaard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. Franziska von Karma.
Huh?
Didn't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in her own words. That wasn't the word, but whatever.
Then, right now, Miss Andrews is...
Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Ongaard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them.
Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That is my only priority.
It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please. Someone help me.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there. Right?
Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
I gotta force Andrews to testify. Which is 1-7.
I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you were really hiding.
Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure, Mr. Ongaard will get an acquittal, but in its place, you would be found guilty. Is this really how you want this trial to end?
Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense theory is the truth.
You're wrong. Such a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't have come to this, however.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop.
Mr. Edgeworth?
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop. please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's
the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report.
What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
The secret of her codependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please, please stop! I beg you! People find out. I'll...
If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold?
However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore.
Oh, right.
When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honestly, when I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room, and then I stabbed Juan's body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience, and that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume.
Stab the body with a knife? But why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person? A certain cowardly man?
What do you mean by all this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. The scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time.
Last time?
So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Creta, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Mr. Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime.
What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. So I think, the inconvenience is what we have to press on.
An inconvenience?
There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That's Miss Oldbag.
I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
I don't want to concede, but this testimony, it rings of the truth.
I'm sorry, Phoenix.
No, please, don't apologize to me. We were both taken by surprise.
Still, I'm sorry.
Well, you could tell from the state that the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you state that you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf was part of the Jam Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice.
What is this plan you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
That was so you could get the knife, correct?
The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. Thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off his button.
So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife?
It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But, at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, it could make Matt look even more suspicious.
So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Ongod's Hakama?
Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they?
You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony.
You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct?
Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He's going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
And what is this secret?
That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to just leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. Absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Ongod's room and planted the button?
Into Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word. What does all this mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ongard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Franziska, huh?
She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, you can be certain she is not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor. The defense still...
Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright.
But...
Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That's all. Court is adjourned for today. Oh no. Oh no. What do we do? Oh. Oh no.
Today's trial. It's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something?
Edgeworth?
What is it? Before you leave court today, I wonder if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember it at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day.
The room?
That day. Yeah. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there, right next to him.
You found that card?
It was the killer! Bum, bum, bum. I mean, I guess that should have been pretty obvious, but... That's like his calling card, isn't it? I suppose it must have unconsciously slipped into my pocket. It's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card, if you ask me. But as far as clues to this case, I don't see why.
Oh, does Edgeworth know? Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this from me all this time.
I didn't mean to. What is this all about?
I've never seen such an emotional Edgeworth in my entire life.
That card. What in the world is it? What does it mean?
Don't you dare end it there. Oh, you piece of garbage game. I hate you so much. They always put the to be continues at the worst parts. I hate it. But that's... So the killer is the one who did it, huh? I wish he would have told us that sooner. Anyways, that was a crazy stream. Lots of stuff happened, but I really liked that. That was a super fun case. I don't know how we're gonna avoid Maya not being killed. Like that's a thing. But I guess we'll find out next time. So I think my upload or my streaming schedule is pretty good right now. I should be streaming more Yakuza tomorrow and then more of this on Friday. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next stream tomorrow with Yakuza. I really hope you guys watch that series because I'm loving it so far, and I hope you guys are too. But without further ado, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out!